Given the kind of year I had in 2020, I honestly didn't know whether or not I was going to make a snapshot. I thought, maybe this is the end of a really great series that I came up with back in 2014. But then I thought, you know what? I'm not ready to give up this tradition just yet. Hello! Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I don't know if it's because of 2020 specifically, or because my voice sounds oddly low right now, but I feel so much older filming this snapshot right now. It's like I gained a sense of maturity, and those that know me personally, they would probably laugh at that, but I just feel, it feels odd making this snapshot. And it's probably because of the year that we've all had, but something about it feels really strange. So, honestly, I'm just gonna cut to the chase on a few things, but I actually have a surprise. So typically, what I do in my snapshots, if you don't already know, is at the end of my little recap, I make this collage of all of the really cute videos and photos that I took over the year. And honestly, a lot of my camera roll consists of memes and screenshots that don't really matter. So what I thought I'd do instead is, at the beginning of 2020, I downloaded the 1 second everyday app, where I film 1 second every single day, 365 days of 2020, and then at the very end, the app stitches them all together and it makes this little, almost 7-minute movie of all of the seconds. So, I'm going to share that, but first, here's how 2020 went. Honestly, it started off really great. I had a lot of performances at the beginning of the year. I went to NAMM, I sat in with RCC's ensembles. I just did a whole lot of cool things. Celebrated Valentine's Day with someone for the first time ever. So that was kind of cool. And a bunch of cutesy things here and there. But then March happened and the whole coronavirus pandemic entered everyone's lives, and at first we had no idea what that was going to look like. Now here we are in December, still smack in the middle of a pandemic, and what can I say? It was awful. It is awful. And there's no amount of words that I can say that can undermine that. Though it was terrible, there were some highlights to the year that I'm actually really proud of. Am I gonna jump into it right now of all the details? No. You'll see that in later on. But I will say that oh gosh, how do I say this? Within the confines of my house, I've learned a lot of things about myself, and I have learned what I've taken for granted pre-COVID. I took for granted seeing my loved ones. I took for granted opportunities to travel or to perform because my insecurity or being shy or just not wanting to, whatever it was. Or if it was just literally me being a stubborn introvert and not wanting to socialize. I took all that for granted. And it makes me sad because, once COVID is under control and the pandemic finishes, I don't think we're going to be the same. There's always going to be something different going back. And I don't think that's necessarily a good or a bad thing. It's just a reality that we all have to face. But having said all that, in 2019, I made the New Year's resolution to meet more musicians, get my name out there, and step out of my comfort zone more often. The answer to that is not as much as I wanted. I did meet more musicians, and I made some really cool connections this year. For example, I connected with Dr. Monica Herzik, and she is very present in the Jazz Education Network, so that's really awesome. And also, Tom Politzer accepted my friend request on Facebook, so that's basically the only highlight of the year. I managed to get my name out there a little bit. I started my master's thesis, which is about women in jazz and their experiences. I made a survey and all of that. I also made a website for Melody Leon Music. It has my credentials, about me, my biography, and my discography. I think that's how you say it. And I think it's been a really great resource for people to get to know me, and when I start looking for jobs, pretty soon, post-graduation, I think that'll be a great place for future employers to get to know me quickly. As far as stepping out of my comfort zone, I did a little bit. I started jumping back into the gig scene toward the beginning of the year, but since, COVID happened, I wasn't able to gig anymore, so there's that. But also, there were opportunities for me to perform virtually, but I chose not to, just for my own insecurity, and that's something that I definitely want to work on in 2021. So that's an example of me taking for granted opportunities, I guess. However, I will say I did participate in a lot of virtual choir kind of things. Because of everything that's going on, a lot of composers and platforms decided to start doing these virtual choir things, even virtual band. I've seen that. Didn't get to participate in one, but that's fine. Like Eric Whittaker's choir, I participated in Tommy Walker's project, and I also participated in this virtual choir that the organization Standing Room Only in the High Desert started, because they were doing a fundraiser to kind of save this old theater that was in my neighboring town. That was really nice for me to just volunteer my time to be a part of these projects, because it gave people hope. Also, it gave me something to do. But I'm just really grateful for those experiences. Also, at the end of 2019, I predicted that 2020 was going to be a fruitful year with much to learn. And I also called it the fun year. Half of that's true. Like I said, I feel like I've learned a lot about myself, like being stuck in my room for days and days and days and just thinking about my life and what I miss and stuff, and it really just brought out my priorities in life. And also, it made me learn a bit about myself, good things and bad things, but either way, I'm grateful for it. So, to jump into 2021, I want to make a real attempt to control my anxiety and overthinking, because especially in the circumstances that I was in, particularly this year, my anxiety really just took over a lot of things that it didn't have to take over. So in 2021, I definitely just, if that means like getting psychological help or whatever that means, I just really want to start gaining control of that, because if I don't, I feel like it's just going to take over my life. So I definitely want to just take that initiative and do something about it. Also, to add on to that, I don't want to live in fear. Something that has been induced by COVID is, I'm always going out and being fearful. What if I catch the virus? What if I get sick? What if this, that? Which is also contributing from my anxiety, of course. But 2021, I hope to just not live in fear, but also just not be careless too. And finally, in 2021, I want to make an effort to see my family and friends when safe, of course. In the middle of this year, probably the end of summer, I sent a few letters to some people that I've always wanted to reconnect with, but I just never found the time to, or I got lazy or whatever. So when I had time, I was like, there's literally no excuse now. So I wrote those letters and I felt good. I felt so good about it, and it was perfect timing for those people specifically for personal reasons, and that feeling is something that I love. So in 2021, I hope to visit family that I always say, oh yeah, I'll visit you sometime, and I just never do. Like, I don't want to just say those words, I want to actually do it, because you always say, oh yeah, we'll hang out, and then it just doesn't happen, you know? So I want to do it. So, finally, for 2021, I predict that it is going to be a year of hardship, but resolves with accomplishment and relief. There's a lot of new things coming in 2021. By summer, I will finish my graduate degree and I will be done with school. Forever, I think. So, that's exciting. A little nervous about it, but mostly just excited. Ready to start my life, I guess. And like I said earlier, it feels really weird making this video. It's not my normal, energetic, positive, optimistic self, but I'm sure that'll come back in 2021 for sure. But to just reflect on what this year was like versus to what it could have been, it's honestly sad. It's really sad. But nevertheless, I still want to be optimistic for 2021. Just keeping my mind open, that's for sure. And welcoming 2021. Well, that's just about the end for me. If you like what you saw, then click that like button there, or subscribe to me if you haven't yet. So please enjoy 1 second every day for this year. Have a God day, make good choices, and I will see you in 2021. Bye. Got you.
I have some friends that love.
Yeah.
That's a real. Hi.
Everything, so it girls.
Clean. Hello.
Keeping myself at. Make it happen. Alrighty then.
Precious.
Melody Beyonce.
Right? I love you. Me. Saxophone. Hello, friends.
Doing okay.
Mom.
Nothing.
Now.
Two.
Alright. Cheers. When you do your research.
Great.
Yay!
Don't leave the area. Take care.
Austin! I'm fine. Sweet.
For jazz.
Oh my Okay. Dutch Bros! Enjoy. Hi.
So beautiful.
1, 2, 3. Sure.
And it's very tiny.
Focus. Just.
Of some.
God, that glory. That's all.
Remember handwritten.
Pretty. It's fair.
Okay.
Ooh. To listen. Love you. It's good. Flat 5.
I have now hacked your phone.
Did it! All the way back. Yes. I love you. So tired. Paper. Ooh.
1, 2, 3.
Ooh. Thank you so much.
Baby. Hi.
Closer to their.
We cook it. Rabbit.
Finally, from
Hello?
Nada responsable.
Yeah.